Alright, today we're gonna look at a ninth grade classroom, and the school that the lesson is being taught at is this college prep school, so they prepare the students for college and they do what they can to get them ready for college. And in this classroom they're going to be analyzing tragedy in Shakespeare based off Aristotle's definition of what a tragedy is. And this is a ninth grade lit class. The teacher explains that she's going to give them this definition of tragedy, and she's going to basically break it up and have the students prove if tragedy has happened in the play Romeo and Juliet up to this point so far. So we'll start playing the video.
Aristotle said in his definition that a true tragedy, it depicts the downfall of a basically good person. The introductory activity, the actual hook, was actually scaffolding. I was relying on what we've already talked about, what we've already learned about what Aristotle says a tragedy is. What we'll do is start breaking apart that definition and seeing how much of that definition we see evidence of in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet up to where we are in our reading, which is Act 3. So for Group 1, their job is to prove that Romeo is a basically good person. Okay, that's the part of the definition that they're going to prove. Okay, another group has, they're going to prove that Romeo experiences a downfall. So every group in here has a different part of the definition, and what you guys are doing is simply proving that this stuff exists. I need 2 pieces of evidence. Okay, I need 2 pieces. Okay, is it great to just throw your evidence down and then peace out, we're done? No. Heck no. Okay, so what do you have to do? You got to explain that. Okay, the continued inclusion of that in common instructional framework only makes their success with studying Shakespeare grand. Questions, comments, concerns, issues? No, work together, talk it up.
I guess the downfall was remember when Benvolio was trying to cheer him up, but like before what happened to him was like, I don't know, he got sad or something.
Really, he's responsible and stuff.
Being responsible is a factor of being a good person. That conversation
Okay. Most of my kids.
Alright, we're going to stop right here for a second. Okay, so one of the things that I really like and agree with in this lesson plan so far is how she is using the definition of tragedy, which she said they already had talked about, and now they are applying it to what they're currently learning, which is Romeo and Juliet. And I like how she, as you'll see later, she's so far taken the definition and divided it into different parts for each group to analyze. And each group gets to work together in their own group and try to pull information together that proves that their point, for example, a good person, saying that Romeo is a good person, they get to pull points from the readings, from the book, from the play, and prove that. And they get to talk to each other, discuss, and pull information together, and then later they present it. So each group presents information, so the class together determines if the definition that Aristotle came up with does apply to Romeo and Juliet. So each student gets to work together in a small group, and then the class collaborates together to make one whole finished product, which I think is really good. And the one thing that I liked is when she was asking questions about about the reasoning, she gave them a chance to answer, yes, we need to explain our reasoning, no, it's not, we don't need to just give a piece of evidence and say, there you go, that's it. She knows to remind them and to let them think that, yes, we need to explain things out. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the part where they start presenting. So let me just drag this cursor. Too far. Okay.
Hold my hands also.
Okay.
Which they had done, they were hidden. And Tybalt had already exited from that.
Yes. How is that an error? How is that a tragic error? How is that a huge misjudgment?
They are both enemies. An enemy with an enemy, it's not right for them to be together if their families are going to keep fighting.
Give them a round of applause. Then you'll see some group presentations. The purpose of...
Okay, so what we just saw was a small tidbit of a group presenting their definition. And what the teacher had done is when they were presenting their definition, she was asking them questions along to help them with their explaining. I guess some of the students, we don't get to see the entire presentation, we only got to see a small bit. So I guess the students were struggling a little bit maybe to give a full explanation, so she was asking questions to try to drag the explanation out a little bit to help them think it through also. And now what we're going to see is, I guess the students have all presented their... Oh, wait, this is a point I forgot. If you can, like, look at the board right here. I guess I forgot to mention this a minute ago. The students actually got to write out their definition and parts of their explanation. You can't really see the entire explanation, but the girl in the video a few seconds ago was holding the erase board marker, so she had written, well, I guess we can guess that she had written the definition. Now the students had to. Alright, well now the students are going to present information from each act, or each group is going to present information from each act now. Also, this lesson plan, we only got to see snippets and parts, but there were some really good parts in this that I liked. And in these presentations, you get to see students stand up, you get to see them talk to the classroom and ask questions of the classroom from each of their acts. They ask questions and they ask opinions, and they ask their students, they ask the class to explain why they think this, or they explain why they think that. So I'll show some of those presentations now.
This group, they are going to talk to you some more about how tragedy does in fact exist through their understanding and comprehension of Act 3.
This is Romeo and Juliet, Act 3. We're going to go through the characters' profiles. First we have Romeo. He is Lord Montague's son.
Where they talk to us and they teach us about the main points, the what's happening in this act.
Mercutio and Tybalt, they start arguing because they are enemies, and Romeo tried to stop the fight, but he failed, and that's where Mercutio dies, and then Romeo kills Tybalt in vengeance.
In the story, Romeo talks about suicide because he kills Juliet's cousin. So how does Romeo's thoughts of suicide reflect on his age?
Romeo is impulsive and irrational to suicide himself, especially because he's young. So yeah, like he hasn't lived his whole life yet.
When it was their time to teach, they knew, I can't get away with this unless I'm able to question, unless I'm able to inquire about what I think that I know, that I really don't know anything.
Okay, so this is Angel. Anybody forgot how to...
Okay, so from what it looks like, a lot of things were explained very well in the video, and I don't really see a description thing here. After the class had presented their definitions of tragedy within the play, they had to make a presentation and explore the definition of a tragedy in that act. Okay, so she kind of did what she did with the definitions. She took what they already know, which was Aristotle's definition of tragedy, and had them take that and apply it to the act. After they had taken that and applied it to, or applied the definition, or part of the definition to the play so far. So she had them practice for a little bit for their presentations, which I think is really good. It gives the students a chance to figure out, try to get a feel for using the definition, and then that way, beforehand, any misconceptions are gotten rid of, any unanswered questions for the students are answered, and so when they actually do the project and do their presentations, they have a clear understanding and can present information at their best. And like the teacher said earlier in the video, in their presentations, the students have to question the other students to try to prove what they know, and they have to have answers prepared also, or they have to have reasoning prepared for some of the questions they have. And you can see some of the students do some cool things with their questionings, like some have bingo, some have like cool games to do for their presentations. So this group presented Act 3, and later we see another group start to present Act 4.
Nobody got a bingo yet? Now
So
this...
oh, not far enough.
Juliet refuses to get married with Paris. The nurse found Juliet laying on her bed and with a bloody knife next to her, and the thought that Juliet had killed herself.
So what we did was we mixed questions together with a game, right? So we're gonna ask, this is how we're gonna play it. We're gonna ask a question, right? And then you guys can think of like a good answer, and what you guys have to do is like knock twice on your table. Anyone can do it. In your opinion, do you think it is better for Juliet to tell Romeo herself or send a letter? Sarah.
I think it's better to send a letter because
I think it's dangerous enough for her to go meet Romeo.
To see them take such great ownership.
As you can see, yeah, the groups present each act, and they did have questions, and like they said, they turned this kind of into a game thing, and as we saw earlier, for a second, the other group had bingo. For the most part, I think this teacher did a really, really good job, and she gave them, what I really liked the most about this is when she was talking about, like I said earlier, like when she was talking about the, tragedy parts, she first had them kind of practice with the portion of the definition, have the class come together and present together what each group came up with, so that they had a full definition and a full explanation in the play, and then they had to take that explanation and apply it to the acts they were assigned for the presentation. I feel like that really helps students, and it gives them the information they need to be successful in the assignment that was given in their presentations. And then the students get to turn around and present their information in front of the class, and they get to ask questions, and they get to just share what they know and share what they've learned, which I think helps them think out more. Also, it helps them think deeper and helps them really have to think about what they know about the play.